Apurv Mahendru. I'm the Director Marketing at the DAAD Regional Office in New Delhi, and I'm very happy to welcome all of you to today's very special webinar series, the Study in Germany webinar series. Now, before I actually start talking to you and giving you some of the details, I just want to make sure that all of you are able to hear what I'm saying and that you're able to see the screen. There is a slide on the screen right now. I hope you are able to see that and you're able to hear me. If so, can I request all the participants to please just type, let's say maybe the city you're logging in from. That would be interesting for us also to know which place it is that you're logging in from. That yeah, okay, I can see a lot of references from Pune and Bangalore and Ahmedabad, even Bangladesh, and Mumbai and Agartala, Hyderabad. Great. So that means, in principle, that all of you who are there are able to hear me. That's wonderful. In case anyone is not able to do that, it would be worthwhile just exiting the system and coming back inside. From our end, I think everything seems to be working just fine. Great. Now, as I said, welcome to this webinar series. This is day one of a two-day series. Today's day is dedicated to sharing more with you about German universities and studies in the fields of engineering and natural sciences. And before I tell you more on that front, maybe I think it's very important for you to know that making this day happen, making this webinar happen, has been a lot of work, a lot of input that has gone in on various sides of the globe. So I am logging in from India with my colleague, Ms. Aditi Gosavi, and on the other side in Germany, you can even see one of my colleagues, Ms. Alice Jordan, and they've been ably supporting this for the past couple of months, and also Ms. Anna Zimenek, who is not visible right now, but I think it's important to mention that this team has been at it, and now's the day, now's the D-Day, so we're happy that all of you are here and that we are able to talk to you and share with you. Right. Now, this is a seminar, or a webinar rather, of a German organization, so what we will try to do is really be very German, at least in one respect, and that is being very sticking to the time limits. Anyone who's had anything to do with Germans will know that time is crucial, and sticking to time limits is crucial, which is why I'm having a look at my stopwatch lying next to me. Today you will be exposed to 6 different presentations by 6 organizations, each of them dwelling upon a different topic. Each of these sessions will be of half-hour duration. Within that half hour, the presenter will have 15 to 20 minutes to present. So you will be able to see the slides of each of the speakers. And there will also be time for you to ask questions. This means you can either, or actually there is one option, since we have far too many participants, we will be taking questions only through the chat. So those of you who tested earlier, who were writing, for example, the cities that you're logging in from, that's the chat window you must have already realized. So any questions that you have, I request you to please type the questions into the chat window. We will have 15 to 20 minutes for presentation and approximately 5 to 10 minutes to answer as many questions as possible. Now, from experience, I can tell you that it will not be possible to address possibly each and every question that you people are typing. But please trust me when I say that we will get back to you. All the questions are being saved in a log, so we know exactly who asked what question, and we have your IDs, so we'll be getting back to you, or rather the university in question to whom you're addressing the question will be getting back to you with the answers that you wish to have. This is basically how the evening today will progress. And for the first half an hour session from 5 to 5:30, we've got approximately 25 minutes left. This session will actually be the initial session, so I, on behalf of the DAAD, will give you an overview of studying in Germany, just some basic facts and figures, some generic information that would be relevant for you to have. And I'm very happy also to share with you that I'm not the only one who will be talking during this session, but We also have someone who's pretty much like all of you who have logged in. This means a young Indian student who's currently in Germany, who's doing his PhD from the University of Heidelberg. So thank you, Jubin, for joining us. And Jubin will also be sharing with you his personal experience of what it means and what it is like to be a student and about student life in general in Germany. So that's how the division goes. I talk about the hard facts. Jubin talks about his own experience as an Indian student in Germany. All right, so I think with the ground rules are clear. Are there any questions at this point of time? I'm looking here now at the Q&A thing. If anything is not clear and you wish to know something, please do let me know. Otherwise, I would like to begin with the next, or rather with the first presentation. So I'm just quickly changing, just a second. Selecting the document. Okay, when I said, is there any question that you'd like to have answered? I already get a lot of questions, but those questions are pertaining more to the subject and the content, so we will now be covering some of the content. My question was more about how we're going to be progressing with today's webinar. Technically, any such questions, but it seems that that part, there is no question at this point of time, which is great. So I would like you now to concentrate on the slides that we have here, which is why I will be just pausing my webcam so that you can concentrate on the slides. Right, as I said, some basic facts and figures about studying in Germany. But first of all, who is this DAAD that is doing this webinar for you today? What role do they play? Well, the DAAD, that's us. We're a big not-for-profit German organization with headquarters in this beautiful city of Bonn. And we have more than 70 offices spread across the globe. And in terms of what we basically do, I think in a very simplified fashion, A, we provide information, B, we provide scholarships. Now, if my Secretary General were to hear this, then I would probably, well, have to take a lot of crap from her, but this is in principle what, in a simplifiid fashion, we at the DAAD do, information and scholarships. We're not concentrating on the scholarships today, but more on the information bit of what we do. Moving on to the next slide. I think the fact that all of you have come and joined this webinar already shows that you don't really need convincing in terms of why to go to Germany. We know that students from India, of course, are, have a lot of options of studying abroad, a lot of countries that they look at. But what makes Germany so special, and why do so many students opt for Germany? I think this one slide that we usually like to share kind of encapsulates it all. A, of course, Germany has produced more than 80 Nobel Prize winners. That itself, I think, speaks for the quality of education that the German system stands for. And traditionally, people would associate Germany with engineering. And yes, rightly so. Germany is a place which is very well known for engineering. It's very strong in that discipline, undoubtedly. But I think this slide also shows that it is equally sought after and equally renowned for many other subjects. Subjects such as literature, the natural sciences, medicine, even economics management. Subjects which don't directly come to mind when one thinks of Germany are nonetheless subjects in which Germany has produced Nobel laureates. So it's not only a destination for engineers, but definitely a lot more. That was something we wanted to share with that slide. Coming to the university system, as I said, we have 10 universities represented over this 2-day webinar series. But in total, there are a little more than 400 universities, and these universities are of different types. Maybe quickly, for those who are not so familiar with the system of education in Germany, you have universities, or simply the terms Universität, which you must have come across if you've ever Googled for studying in Germany. Then you have the technical universities, or in German, that's rather easy to understand, Technische Universität. Yeah, you see, German's not that hard. It's pretty similar to English in many ways. And then you have the universities of applied science. In German, you might come across the term Fachhochschule, or simply FH, written in front of a city's name. So that is an abbreviation for the word Fachhochschule. That implies a university of applied science. Yeah? So these are, I think, from the Indian perspective, the three most important types of universities. As I said, universities of applied science have an applied focus. Universities and technical universities at times have a more traditional fundamental research focus as well. That's a very simplified manner of telling this to you. But as I said, since we are a little short on time, that's why I'm simplifying or maybe even oversimplifying some things. But at least that will help you to get an overview or an idea. Now, Germany as a destination for foreign students is extremely popular worldwide. Germany is the third most popular country for international students, with more than or almost 350,000, 3.5 lakh foreign students studying in Germany. So that's almost close to 13%. Now, this is an extremely large number, and this makes Germany, as I said, the third most popular destination for foreign students from all over the globe. Indians are also increasingly finding Germany to be well, a very apt place to study. And as you can see from this slide, from this graph, the number of Indian students studying in Germany has been rising steadily over the past many years. And I think this is attributable exactly to what I said, the fact that it is becoming, or people are becoming aware of the benefits and what all one can do and what is possible in Germany. So that's basically the work that we try to do. This rise in numbers has, of course, got to do with the fact that people are becoming aware, but also importantly with a lot of other, let me say, fundamental changes within the universities and the university system. There are now more than 1,700 international programs that are taught all across Germany in various universities. Now, these international programs, as the word itself suggests, are programs that cater to an international audience. This means they are largely taught in English medium, and that, I think, is one thing that has made it attractive for many Indian students who, as a rule, do not know the German language that well. It has made it possible for many students to go to Germany and study in spite of not knowing the German language. So as a prerequisite, if you have a background with just English and you've completed your studies in English and have not learned German so far, technically speaking, you're still eligible to apply for these international programs, and that's one of the reasons that many students are making, are moving in that direction. We've covered the fact what you can do, what you can study, that you can study in English. That's great. What are the costs involved? Now, I think here also you see a slide which shows you that as an average student in Germany, you're probably going to need something close to 800 euros per month to take care of your living expenses. Okay, can you hear me now? Hello? Okay, I think I was not audible for a couple of seconds. I'm back now. All right. This slide shows you the living expenses. This is approximately 800 euros that are needed as an average student in Germany per month. And of course, depending on the city you're in, this amount could go up or could go down, but it gives you a fair estimate of what you need as living expenses. Other than that, tuition fees in Germany, as I said, Germany's education system is state subsidized. So at the public universities, in most cases, the courses are not charged, but in certain cases, of course, certain special programs can be chargeable, and private universities are also permitted to offer specialized courses against payment of fees. So you may, of course, come across universities that do charge fees, but there are also very many that do not have that element of tuition fees per se. Moving on and talking a little bit more about money, we spoke about tuition or the absence of tuition fees in many universities. Of course, as a student, you always look for new and other sources of income. So part-time work is something that is extremely sought after, and we encourage students to do part-time work because that enables those students not just to earn a little bit of pocket money, but also to, well, get acquainted and to get familiar with a place, with its people, to practice their language skills and so forth and so forth. So as per the rules, you can work part-time for 120 full days or 240 half days. A half day implies 4 hours. Full day is accordingly an 8-hour duration. So that's what you're permitted to do. Other than that, if you're looking at not part-time work, but job opportunities, that's the next thing. I think that's again somewhere that Germany has opened up its systems. So now after the completion of your study program at a German university, you're permitted to stay on for 18 months to search for a suitable job. This means even after you've completed your studies for a duration of 18 months, you will still enjoy the same benefits and prerogatives that you enjoyed as long as you were still studying and were still a student. So that remains. And in most cases that we've seen, of course, 18 months is more than enough time for a well-qualified student to find suitable employment. And once you do that, then of course your stay is dependent on the work contract that you enter into. So these are some factors that do make Germany and studying in Germany extremely attractive to many Indian students. These are the offices of the DAAD in India. Feel free to contact any of these. If you happen to be in a city, one of these cities, you're most welcome to drop by. So this was in a nutshell what I wanted to convey, because that gives you an overview of studying in Germany from the Indian perspective with facts and figures. And with this, I have come to the end of my part of the presentation. And as I had promised, we'll have question and answers, but I would still say that we have the second presentation, the presentation by Jubin Shah from the University of Heidelberg. So Jubin, I am just opening your presentation. Just give me 1 second. And then in the meantime, if you want, you can unmute yourself. And if you wish to switch on your webcam, please feel free to do so.
Hello, is my voice audible?
I have just shared your presentation. It should be visible in a couple of seconds.
Hi, is my voice audible?
Yes, Jubin, we can hear you. And if you speak closer to the microphone, it would be even better. But yes, it is audible. Please
Jubin
go
here.
ahead.
Thanks a lot, Apurva and the entire team of DAD for giving me this chance to present myself and get connected with different students. I can understand the excitement that what like most of you are undergoing and who look to go, who look to come to Germany for their studies. It's commendable, and I see interest to be growing. So I am a PhD student at the University of Heidelberg. So Heidelberg is a small town close to Frankfurt in the south part of Germany. It's a pretty nice town, and I also probably might connect with some of you who might come here. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I just wanted to share some of the information which I thought like probably many students, especially from India, they miss out. I'm definitely sure that you guys get like a lot of information through channels like DAD for coming to Germany about how you apply and how you approach and all the details related to the university, and also on the university website. But there are some points which might get missed out, and I thought it would be good to put that out in within this limited time. So I would just like to, yeah. So one of the important point is that how exactly you apply, and there are some tips on survival. So in that sense, based on my experience, I have understood, and I think most of my friends or uh, like students who have come here, they agree on this point that whenever you try to approach anyone in Germany or any university, do a proper background check or proper research on the person whom you're approaching. Whether it might be for your project or for PhD or any specific purpose, do a proper check on them. Try to write your emails properly, addressing the person properly, and do not make mistakes in these small things. So check, read about their research papers, as Apurva also mentioned. Like most of the, there are such great researchers from Germany. So always check about their work, read about their recent updates before writing to them. Prepare your CV like through the German or European format. Also your cover letter. That is one of the most important thing in Germany, because even you are like super good or super talented, but if you do not do these things properly, you might miss out on your application, or you would get rejected. There is a very good chance of getting rejection. Write your emails to the point. Do not wind around. Be clear about your intention, why you are writing to them. Be patient. Generally, you would not get replies like very on the same time, but be patient with them. And you can always send a reminder later on, but please make sure that, you do not keep bombarding them with your emails or with your requests. So have some patience with them. Well, Germany is an advanced society, and one of the point I've also realized is that they criticize a lot, but that's also one of the points what makes them advanced. It's not like how system in India works, where most of the things are bit diplomatic. So if you're coming to Germany, be ready to get criticized, but do not worry about that, because that is for your own good and to improve you. So try to be perfect as much as possible in whatever you're trying to do, or whatever studies you're doing, or whatever projects you're doing. Other also important point through my interaction and through my last few years in Germany has been that many students, they just try to be like Germans, but I find it, to be frank, bit foolish actually. I would prefer to actually get blend in the culture, and I've also realized that many of the Germans, they like if the students, or if they're making friends, they are bit original in their culture and not just trying to get into the shoes of Germans and saying that okay, we are also from here. So that, I don't think so that would work to a great extent for anyone. And that is one of the key ways to get habituated to the lifestyle here. Well, I also wanted to share what possible options you can do after your masters, and what are the options. For sure, like I have taken up a PhD study, so that is definitely one of the options. You can always also select for temporary research positions. They are something called like EV positions, which also allows you to get some money and like get some really good exposure to latest technologies or some great projects in the lab. So that is another option. For sure, you can look for jobs in universities, industries, and startups. That's also a very good option right now. Internships are one of the key ways to for you to get like a proper position in a company. So do not miss out on good internships which are coming through your way. Forming your own startup. So now recently, at least in last few years, there's a lot of support for also forming your own startup. And even if you're from not within from Germany, there is a really good support. It's just that you need brains to get your ideas rolling. There are also options for administrative and consultant jobs, but for this kind of jobs, you would need like really good German skills. And yes, one of the other important points is that uh, also try to associate yourself with some non-profit engagements. I feel, at least based on my personal experience, this helps you to learn like different skills and get some experience which you might not be able to get through your studies or your coursework, and it gives you real advantage in your CV also. And uh, also through my personal experience, I've seen that many of the German students, they are really active in their non-profit work, and this adds like a lot of weightage to your CV. just to give you an idea that what kind of non-profit activities, like for example, I am personally involved with, or how Indian community is involved. So there is a lot of active engagement of Indian community in Germany, especially students. For example, there are like Indian Students Associations across Germany. You can check Indian Students in Germany website. It's an initiative by the Indian Embassy, so it's a very recognized and a proper channel. So you would get a trustworthy information through that channel. In general, most Germans, as I said, like to be part of some non-profit activities. It helps a lot. This helps to build your skills and network beyond your regular studies. This also can help you to get a job actually. Last one important point I want to mention is that although some of you might, for example, me, when I came here, I was not aware of, I did not study German language, but over a period of time, I have developed basic skills. And although for me, the research does not require to have like German skills, but overall for normal living, I think German skills are very important. And I would definitely recommend you guys to have at least basic German skills to get adapted and get through your coursework, or also apply for basic jobs. So for that, German skills would be very important. To just give you an example of what kind of non-profit activities we are doing or what kind of events we are doing like a live pitch-up event for startups across 2 cities from Heidelberg to Mumbai. It would be a live event where students across both cities can participate. We are pushing a lot on waste segregation awareness campaigns. We are also, through Indian Embassy, we also do mentorship program for young students who come from India. And if any of the students, they are in distress. So we try to help on all those channels. And if you need anytime more information, you can always see, check DAAD website, specific DAAD young ambassadors, and all of them are equally helpful, and you can approach any of them. So with that, I think I would just try to wrap up my presentation. Thanks a lot, and good luck.
Right, thank you so much, Jubin. And I think you ended it on the last slide on a very interesting note when you said that if you really want to make most of your time in Germany, it's extremely important that you learn the German language, and I think that is something that many people underestimate. But you're very right when you say that. I just look on the clock and I seem to have just 2 or 3 minutes left to answer some questions. And there were already some questions that my colleagues have been answering in the background. I'll just try and pick up a few that I can see. As I said, there are too many really to, to do justice to them, I must admit. But nonetheless, we are going to just try and pick up a few in terms of one person, Sarvesh Prakash, for example, was asking about a 3-year diploma. So here I think these are questions about eligibility, very relevant questions. German universities as a rule do not accept or any diploma or certificates. They have to be full degrees, and 4-year degrees is the norm that most universities accept. I know that in certain cases universities have only 3-year degrees, so yes, universities in Germany are aware of that fact as well. So typically a 4-year degree is what you would need. 3-year degrees are also acceptable in many cases, but diplomas unfortunately will not suffice. There were some more questions regarding scholarships. And for scholarships, I can only advise you people to join us for one of our scholarship sessions. We have regular webinars that we do once a month or so. And for scholarships, it's not possible to cover the entire gamut of scholarships we have. And for that, you would be requested to keep visiting daad.in, where you can find updates on our events and join us for one of our next scholarship programs. But yes, I mentioned in the beginning that DAAD is an organization that gives scholarships, so definitely. In the meantime, if you want some information, then I think visiting our website, daad.in, would be the easiest thing to do for now. And with this, I think we've come to the end of the first 30-minute slot that we had been given. I hope that what information we shared with you was useful. I reiterate the fact that we've not been able to answer all the questions because there are quite a few hundred people who have logged in and are taking part in this webinar today. but we will get back to you with relevant answers shortly. This webinar is also being recorded for your information, and we will be making this recording available in the coming weeks on our website. I also noticed that some of you are pressing some buttons around on your window, the raise hand button and so forth. Yeah, it's a nice functionality because with that button you can attract our attention. But right now for today, since we have a very big crowd, I would rather request you to please stick to what we decided of typing your questions in the Q&A window. That will be easier for us to get back to you with the relevant answers in writing per email in the days to come. So I think the first session we were able to end on time. I'm glad about that. And moving on to the first university or the first institutional session per se, we will be listening to Mr. Kem Bugler, who will be talking on study admission and study preparation, the test staff and the test art.